Hello there, welcome along to another classic rewind match. We're at Old Trafford, January 2020 for Burnley's visit to face Manchester United. Delighted to say the Burnley manager Sean Dyche is here, along with the former title winner with Manchester United, Owen Hargreaves. And Owen, the big United team news that night, no Marcus Rashford or Scott McTominay.
Yeah, big blow really for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think McTominay has been tremendous in midfield, especially against the Burnley side that just make you work so hard and so physical. He's going to be a big miss, but an opportunity for Matic and Fred to try and control that midfield, especially at Old Trafford. But I think the big storyline obviously is, you see there the midfield three, Matem, Pereira and James, kind of the attackers, but Martial leading the line for one of the first times, playing in that number 9 position. That's a big opportunity for him.
Sean, you've just beaten Leicester on the Sunday, just one change, tried and trusted for you?
Yeah, I mean, we get to a level of the season, like we did, where the format was looking good. We felt that we weren't a million miles away. We'd have a tough run, but then we had a big result against Leicester. Confidence picks up quickly, at this level with the players. And so we didn't want to go too far away from what we know and what the players can deliver.
And Wood and Rodriguez up front for Burnley. Ashley Barnes out injured. United to get us underway. So when you come into a game like this, Sean, away at Old Trafford, where Burnley had never won in the Premier League, what kind of plan did you have in place?
Well, firstly, they were on a bit of an awkward spell, so we thought, okay, well, let's work on that for starters. Let's remind the players that they're still a very good side, some top players, but even at this level, these players the confidence can dwindle a little bit. And there was a funny feeling around this time of their game, so that had to be factored in. And then really, you've got to get your shape right. You've got to get the basics right. You've got to work as a unit. You can see here the pressing lines are good. We're aggressive in our press with the midfield four going onto their sitter if they need to, or their 2 sitters on this occasion. And trying to nick yards. You can see there the ball goes forward. Look how active we are getting forward. We're trying to say, look, we've not come here to just sit on the back foot. Sometimes good teams force you onto the back foot. That's a different matter. But we went there with a real positive feel to get on the front foot and to go after Man United. And I don't think we did as much in the first half, actually. But we were resolute and we stayed strong. So I was happy with even these first moments. The shape's good, the distances are good. And you see there the back four are nice and compact. They're inside the V that we talk about defending on. And they're in good shape.
And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team, as Sean said, just lost to Liverpool. And there was an edginess in the Old Trafford air.
Yeah, especially at Old Trafford. And I think a couple of weeks before, obviously, these two sides played, and it was only really the one mistake. I remember it was towards kind of mid part of the first half, and really that almost changed the game. But for that point in the game, you very much were United had possession, but it felt like Burnley were quite comfortable. So do you think, Sean, was there a point where you said to the players about just cutting out any of those mistakes that give them an opportunity which they don't need?
We thought we were a bit unlucky in that game, by the way. We thought we played well in that game. And so we reminded them of that as well, because as you know, there was a reasonably quick turnaround. And I totally agree, in that game, there was a mistake that got them in front. But actually, I thought we delivered a really strong performance that night. And we were trying to think that if we can give some of that performance back away from home, it is difficult at Old Trafford, we know that. Even with a side that, a bit of an awkward spell, it's still difficult. It's always difficult going to Old Trafford. But I think the mindset, yourself, having played, the feeling in the dressing room was right before this game, and that can sometimes, that could be as important as getting it tactically right. Just the feel, the emotional feel to a group, it was really strong this night, and we felt they were in good shape. I mean, chances like that, really important moments then. It's unlikely that you're going to go to Old Trafford and they're not going to have a chance, or some chances. So that moment there, when he just lets it slide under his foot, they're big moments. They're important moments in games like this. You'll see it here.
Yeah, it wasn't his night, Owen, was it, Anthony Martial? It was, as you said, it was a big night for him in the absence of Rashford.
No, but I think it's really, these are some of the hardest games I ever played in as a football player. I think back when, to that United team, we won the league and the Champions League. We lost to a Bolton side under Sam Allardyce, and they made it so difficult on you because they were very good at second balls. They put the ball in the areas. which you had to deal with. If you didn't win the headers, the second ball was bouncing around, and it's very hard to play against. If you're like United, they want the ball down and they want to play. But if you don't, against Burnley, if you don't win the second balls, they grow in confidence. They get more confident, and I think these teams are harder to play against than teams that actually play. Want to get the ball down and play, because United, at times, or the footballing teams struggle to deal with the physicality and the second balls and the aerial threat.
Believe it or not, because after the game it looks different, but at half time, I was actually a little bit off with the players, because I felt, although the shape was good, it's okay getting the basic shape right and getting in the passing lanes, but you've still got to actually go and make some kind of confrontation, some kind of actual contact. And I didn't think we did in the early parts of the game. And so I actually give the lads a little bit at half time. I said, look, we haven't come here to just look nice and look like we're doing the right thing and get a distance right. You've got to go and be active. You've got to make physical contact to go and win the ball and break up the play. And so, even though our shape was really good in the first half, we came in good shape and we were up. But I was really a little bit annoyed, to be honest. I said, we haven't come in here to make the numbers up. We've come here to get a result. And so, even though the shape was good, I was a bit disappointed we weren't physically more active. You see there, we're always
before
a threat
the goal.
Set pieces.
That was a big chance.
Yeah, we're always a threat set pieces. We felt that we could affect them with that. And like you say here, Ben Mee, fantastic player, but brilliant in the air. And Woody, at this level of the market, that's a chance. You don't get that many at Old Trafford, so that's a chance. And it would have been an important one for us, but he's unlucky, he's in the right place. But you can see here, look at the pressing, we're still up there, we're still trying to force the issue. We're not kind of conceding the ground. Inevitably in the second half we did, but it was a different thing. We were containing the game then. At this stage it's still 0-0, but we are trying to be on the front foot, but it is difficult. But you can see here there's good shape in the back four, and that's another big moment, by the way. So them two big moments, they were the biggest moments of the game, I felt. And they go for you instead of against you. And then, even coming out of this moment, you'll see, Owen will tell you, these things are important here. These twists of fate, little bit of luck, it's a miss hit. And even coming out of that, we get a foul, and that breaks up the play. Chris Wood gets fouled, and it just breaks the play up and slows the momentum down.
Yeah, I think you need a bit of luck, obviously, as a team. Where things kind of go your way. But I think at times also you run your luck there. You see, even winning second balls, not allowing them time to play. Even there, those little things build up, and then the boys can play. Then you can get into an area where they can go and link and they grow in confidence, because the boys want to work to the game plan, but as well they want to probably, if they can, try and get that goal at Old Trafford. And I think when you're tight and compact and you're winning those second balls, then you get the opportunity to get these set pieces in, which you guys do as good as anyone.
Well, the thing is that our players have learned to accept the fact that you're unlikely to have the same possession. They've learned to accept the fact that, especially away from home, especially at these clubs. So when you accept that, then you've got a mindset of a group of players that go, okay, we'll take this on. We know that's not going to happen. It's often when teams don't accept that, they kind of think, why aren't we playing? And then they can get themselves into this mishmash of a performance. On this night, we accepted that. We knew the shape would be important. We knew the pressing lines would be important. We knew recovery from the pressing lines would be really, really important, because they do get in behind you at times and in behind your lines. So how quickly we could recover from them moments. And as you see, there's some big moments that go for you, some good defending, some because you get a lucky break. And also from the shape generally was good. And as you said, Owen, our job in these games is to make it very difficult for the opposition. It's unlikely you're going to outplay them and out-football them, but you can get them to a point where they just stop knocking on the door. They just actually start playing sideways and sideways and sideways. And as the game went on, that happened more and more.
Yeah, I think as a player, sometimes you've got to realise what you're good at. And I realised I could have an effect on a bigger game against better players than me if I outworked them. I knew I was quicker than probably
brilliant defending
players I played against. But
that's right.
I had to outwork the opposition, and if I did that, I knew I could affect probably a better player than me in the game. And that's how I think probably for you, Sean, with the players, they can go to Old Trafford and get a result if they do what they do well. Don't worry about trying to overcomplicate things, make mistakes, do what you do well. And when the opportunity arises, then we've got to take the chance.
I think actually, my opinion of the secret of being a good player is to know your strengths and play to your strengths. Yeah. It's possibility and capabilities. Players who get them confused, you play to the best of your capabilities. But if you start thinking about possibilities, I can possibly do this, that, and the other, you get yourself in trouble. Stick to your strengths, and our players do that. I think they play to their strengths. the obvious one for us who wasn't playing this night is Ashley Barnes. I mean, he's a way better player than people think he is. He's a way better player
100%.
than people give him credit for, because he plays to his strengths and he knows how to be an awkward player to play against, and that is a strength in itself, as you know.
So that was the free kick, and there was the aerial threat again.
Well, we'd knocked on the door with the one before. It's something that we think is still important in the game. 25 to 30% of goals are still scored from set pieces. So we do pay attention to it. And this is why I was a bit annoyed, because you've seen the chances they've had. We were in good shape and we did a lot of good things, but we didn't really put any contact on them. And nick the ball and win the ball in the right lines. So once we scored this, you go in a different place mentally as well. You go into a place, but I saw through the fact we scored, and I gave him a bit at half time because I wasn't really happy with that side of the game. But no, a great goal. I mean, a brilliant contact there, but it's a sublime finish. I mean, I keep telling him he shinned it because he did shin it. And as you can imagine, he's joyful when I tell him he shinned. He just says, "Yeah, Gaffer, I shinned it into the goal." I go, "Fair one. I'll take that.
we lost the Bolton that year on the same goal. Long free kick into the box. Jared Piqué, I never forget it. He was in the dressing room after. It was one of his few starts for us when he played, and he cried because he knew he wasn't going to get many more opportunities. And if you don't deal with those moments well, those diagonals, they're hard, And obviously, people look like maybe that wasn't planned. That was all planned. Diagonal, win the header, run onto it. And that's a thing of beauty, probably a thing as players, when you can work on something, and then it comes off at a stage like Old Trafford and say, that's what we can do well and beat a team like Man United.
And at this stage as well, yourself, a big part of playing at Old Trafford is to kind of soften the crowd as well. And do you know what was weird? We were gutted, right? So into the second half, the crowd stayed with them, and we were gutted. We were like, surely the crowd are going to, they're going to go mad in a minute. And they didn't. They stayed with him to their credit, and they kept backing him. They kept supporting Ollie. They kept getting behind the team. We were like, come on. Eventually, you've got to crack and start caning people, but they didn't. We were gutted.
And the United team this night.
No, I was just going to say, little things like this just diffusing the game. We're trying to break the game. We have tried in this first half, believe it or not, when we could diffuse it by slowing down with the ball. We were trying to do that, but it's difficult. You try and slow down against Man United, by the way. They're coming on the press. And then you've got to. So now this is a different talk now at half time. This is a completely different team talk now at half time.
Well, you're marching down there. You've already told us you weren't particularly happy.
Oh, I'm cross. I'm cross.
I'm
cross. I can assure you, I was cross.
But you were 1-0 to the good, and of course it got even better for Burnley in the second half. And we'll get Sean and Owen's thoughts on that when we come back next. Welcome back. So Burnley, a goal to the good going into the second half in January 2020 against Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Owen, had introduced Mason Greenwood, the 18-year-old, at half-time because United needed lifting, didn't they?
Yeah, and to be fair to him, he's a special finisher. I mean, he's left or right, he's exceptional. But you see there, even there, when he gets on the ball, get after him, get to him quick. And I think that's what Burnley did terrific in the first half. You get to players quickly, don't give them time and space. When you give good players time and space, they make it hard on them.
Did you expect something of a reaction at the beginning of this half, Sean?
Yeah, we spoke to the players at half time after I'd calmed down a little bit and reminded them the good side of our first half performance. We said, look, you're going to have to stay on the front foot the best you can. They're probably going to have a reaction of some form. We expected there might be a change, which there was. Then it's about mindset. It's about, can you, the push and pull of a performance. You're 1-0 up at Old Trafford. Can you remain doing the things you're doing and still look to get your chances when they come your way and not just retreat? And it's difficult because you've got something to work with. You're 1-0 up. And it is difficult to not, to not just retreat and try and hold on. And you can see here, we are trying to probe. We are trying to remain in the top third of the pitch and trying to have a strong start to the second half, because we said we've got to stay on the front foot. We've got to stay with that mentality.
Again, there, but you see almost in every clip, second balls, the boys are there. Jay Rodriguez wins one there where Fred slips. Me's flying in, trying to get on the end of things. That's how you beat a team that technically is superior to you. You have to outwork them, and can you capitalise on mistakes and be clinical? And I thought Burnley, the game plan just just worked beautifully for them. And obviously, you know, when you chase everything, not allow these guys time to play and give them more confidence. You know, Sean's right. As players, you know, you get a bit deflated because it doesn't feel like there's any openings. And United have struggled against teams that defend like this. You know, they want to play on the counter and running behind. Against Burnley, there isn't any. I mean, wow.
That weren't bad. I was quite pleased with that bit.
Amazing.
I was going to say, you had a bit of banter with Chris Wood. Surely you didn't with Jay Rodriguez.
No, the thing was, you know, so as we've discussed already, you know, through the first half, you need to find pockets. It's unlikely you're going to dominate the ball or dominate it to the effect where you're going to make loads of chances. You need to find the pockets, and often pockets come out of disorganisation of the opposition. In this case, it wasn't disorganisation, it was fantastic play. Quick, clever play in the tight area. Jay Rod, I mean, he lets one go loose there, which is unbelievable. I mean, the strike here, you know, I mean, it just bounces up, and then you know it's a detail, it just bobbles up for him, but in a good way. Look, it just sits up so he gets the real, the meat of his foot sort of thing through it, and it's a beautiful strike. I mean, it's fair to say, I was buzzing at that point. I don't always show it, but I can assure you I was buzzing. This is where, so now...
We should point out, Sean, in the last 2 seasons prior to this, you had been 2-0 up.
Yeah, people sometimes forget that, and we'd well, they'd actually, to credit to them, it wasn't that we'd performed badly. They just forced us into getting 2-2s, and you know, one I remember there was a little help from a referee's moment in time, I would say. But other than that, now the game changes by that. So now it's about absorbing the game. Now, can you make them play in front of you? Can you make them play what I call nothing football, where they're having, you know, 700 passes and never have a shot on goal? So we were trying now. It's slightly changed. The mentality changes. You're 2-0 now. Statistically, you're in a whole different ball game when you're 2-0 up. You know, despite the, you know, this sort of 2-0 and 2-1. You know, statistically at 2-1, you know that scary 2-1. You know, statistically, you win a lot of football matches. You're 2-1 up. So with 2-0, we're going okay. And now it's about organisation. It's about doing the basics. It's about containing the game in an organised fashion, while still looking for the moments. You're still looking for the breaks in play. You're still looking for your pockets to go and absorb the game with the ball, but it's not easy.
Did you sense United getting more and more frustrated here, Owen?
I mean, that touch from Mason Greenwood was crazy. And to be fair to him, that was a huge moment in the game, because I think obviously they knew what they were doing there defensively. You had to take him out because he was in, and that could have gone potentially a different way. But United just didn't. They never got comfortable. And credit Burnley for, you know, obviously once you're 2 up, then you can sit in and defend. You don't need another goal, you know. And this is where they're great. You know, they got guys that are committed, dedicated. There's no space to, you know, when they're taking shots from distance like that. I think you'll be delighted, because with Pope in goal and that back four, look at this. There's no space. There's nowhere to go for anyone. So if this game stays like this for Burnley, there's only one winner, and 2-0 up, as Sean said. You know, it was difficult for United.
Yeah, I mean, I was really pleased at this stage, not just with the scoreline, but it's one of them weird things, you know. But Owen will tell you, as he just pointed out, that if you look now, they're playing a lot in front of us. Now they're on our box line, but it's difficult to go and break that down. If you're the offensive team, it's difficult to go and break down an organised group of players along the box line. And we did that as well. We've done it well historically, because we have to, by the way. So to give you an insight, I often get, you're not a possession-based team. I go, you know, there's 11 others out there who are keeping the ball really well. So it's not always that you don't want to be a possession-based team. It's not always that you don't want to get on the front foot and attack teams. Sometimes they're really good at keeping it, and you've got to play your part defensively to get a result. And we've done that many times, and we did it on this night for sure. But you see here, the distances are good. Back four nicking yards. Charlie Taylor comes out of his slot there, but Dwight McNeil's on cover, goes back into his slot. You know, these are key defending moments. Look at the three defenders inside of the V, as I call it. So the V, if you imagine a line coming out from each post towards the 18-yard line, the V there, that's when you want your back four. I want my back four inside of that V. So if one goes out the V, the other three now are inside of that V. So basically you get your distances right in the box. Good there,
is that something you work?
Soft first contact. Yeah, but it's really simple. If you saw how we work with it, it's not... I simplify for the players, because once we get the simplicity done, then it's down to the players' individual awareness, talent, and IDing, really. Actually IDing the moment. Can they identify the key moment when they have to come out of that shape? And that's the bit when it goes into trust. That's when you can only organise the players and give them a platform to work from. The trust comes from the individual moments. You see there, Taki comes out of his slot. It's 2 yards he moves, but it's 2 yards, which means the opposition can't get a clean strike. You know, watch him come out of his slot here, Taki. So look, he's around on cover, just comes out, can't get a clean strike. So, you know, if it goes through his legs and it goes in, it's unlucky. It's not bad defending.
How difficult
here again,
is it to play against this, Owen?
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's very difficult to play against. I remember if you were in front of me, I used to have a little smile to myself in front of a game because I knew I felt comfortable. Once a midfielder ran beyond me, that's when it caused chaos. Because do I track him? Do Rio pick him up? Does Vidic pick him up? Or do they have players? So in front of me, I loved it. When players ran beyond me, like Frank Lampard used to always do, that's a problem because that causes a bit of chaos and then it causes a bit of confusion. So, but if Sean's right, everything's in front of Burnley, and for the boys there, they're comfortable. You know, this is something they worked on the training ground. Keep everybody in front. You know, when people get into pockets, then you come and help out. We did the same. We did this to Barcelona in the Champions League semi-final. Played the same way. Played disciplined, even with Ronaldo and Rooney and Scholes and Geeks and Tevez. Played disciplined. Did this exactly that. Xavi and Iniesta. Don't dive in. Don't overcommit. Keep them at a distance. I don't think they had a shot on target in 2 games. And I think you can take pride in defending like this because it's an art.
And it's a great point you make there, and also you've dropped some bombs on there, haven't you? You've dropped some big names in there, some big games there, mate. I'm sort of suffering. I was too busy listening to you talk about them big players than I was watching this.
He does do it now and again, Sean, just to remind us.
It's a fair one. It's a fair one. Earn your Spurs. And if you look here, you know, turnover of play now becomes important. These little moments, believe it or not. See that? That's a really important moment. It's a foul, a definite foul. It buys you a breather. You reorganise, you reassess. It puts them out their stride from their fault. It's a foul. It sends us out. It's not like there's anything in it. You know, these are important moments. They seem like these sort of things that fans don't always get, and nor would I want them to. You don't want fans to have an insight that we have because it'd ruin the feel in a stadium. You know, they seem weird, but they're big moments. They just give everyone a calming period. They give your team time to organise. You've got to remember another thing to mention. We ask a lot of our 2 midfielders, don't forget, because we play with a 2 in there, and 2 are always playing against a 3 nowadays. Modern football, virtually. Ancelotti's changed it at Everton. He plays a 4-4-2, which he has done historically a lot of his clubs. But there is a lot of that kind of 4-3-3, so therefore our 2 are asked to do a lot of work in there, and a lot of trust goes into them. And they work their socks off this night, you know, marking the space almost, because you can't always mark 3, quite obviously, but you've got to mark the areas they want to work in. I thought they were terrific, you know, terrific without the ball, working without the ball. You see, definite foul.
I take it.
Yeah. Well, no, it was though. If you see it, you know, you need these to go for you. Look, it's a clear push in the back. You need them to go for you because I've had times when they don't. You know, especially at big clubs, and it's a clear foul. But that's Jeff Hendrick being diligent. You know, that's your right-sided midfielder seeing him all the way into the box. You know, them things are massively important.
Forward runs cause problems for any good team, even if you're the best defensive team in the world. Luke Shaw makes one there on the shoulder in credit, you know. Hendrick, he's there and he does his job. A lot of players switch off in those moments. I mean, that's one thing Burnley do great. They can't afford to switch off, you know, because it's drilled into them that they gotta. I mean, I remember I was at that game at Burnley where you lost 2-0 and the mistake early on in the game. Mistakes. That must really frustrate you, where you're in the game, you're comfortable, and one tiny mistake changes the complete complexion of the whole game.
Yeah, and I think that's key. You know, now, you know, we're seeing the game out. We've done very well second half to control it without the ball. So let me make that clear: it's without the ball, but we've kept it in front of us. You know, the thing about passing, it's penetration that hurts you, by the way. So all fans will hear about passing, possession. It's penetration that hurt you. The teams that have 600 passes in front of you very rarely hurt you. Trust me, Man City, they're always looking to penetrate. They're not, because they have loads of passes. Pep knows that he starts with a goalie, but you've seen the goalie, Ederson particularly, he'll fire one straight over your head, because Pep knows if he can get Aguero in with one pass, then do it. Don't have 500 when you can affect it in one. So my point to that is that if you're keeping these sides, even good sides like this in front of you, having lots of passes but not really going anywhere, then that's a good sign. It's when they start penetrating behind your midfield line and behind your back line, that's when you're normally in trouble.
What's that feeling like? The full-time whistle's gone. We should point out it's the first time since 1962 that Burnley had won a league game at Old Trafford.
I think the thing was, it was earned. I think it was an earned result. You know, two great goals for different reasons. I think the previous 2 games when we were 2-0 up and it came back to a 2-2, this didn't feel like that. the other two, if I'm honest, I thought, they could get back in this. The pressure was relentless, whereas this didn't feel like that. This was a different style of game. I thought we could see this through from our second goal, actually. And it was one of them nights where you didn't fancy Man U to break us, and they didn't on the night. So, absolutely delighted. It definitely gave us another shift in mentality to go on to the run we've had after that.
Owen?
Yeah, it was, huge result and performance from Burnley. It just shows you if you get it right, you can beat one of the best teams. But for United, that was a real low point because the fans left quite early. They started to turn a little bit, and United fans are some of the best and faithful. So credit Ole for bouncing back. But Burnley, brilliant game plan, and it came up for them.
Not a night for United to remember, but certainly for Burnley and for Sean. Thanks for joining us, Sean, on Burnley
Pleasure.
playing at Old Trafford. See you soon.